All right, for number 55, we are going to do two different ways of solving this problem. One is super straightforward, anybody can do with no algebra understanding, and it's might be the fastest way. And then the algebra way of doing it. You can choose whichever one you prefer. So, the super simple, anybody can do it method is my preference. And a lot of students are just going to shy away from these types of problems because they don't know how to set them up. But the reality is, a lot of times you can just work through the math. And so we're told that every cap is $22 and we have 40 caps. And we're going to try to decrease the price, which is increasing the number of hats we sell each week to maximize our profit. So we're trying to figure out what combination of price is going to give us the maximum profit, meaning that we know that if we were actually to map this out, we're going to have a parabola. At some point, it's going to start coming back down. And so we can map this out. But for anybody, regardless if you can figure out how to set up the algebra to form the parabola, we can just work out the math. So if we decrease by $1, it's going to increase the number of hats sold by 4. And so we can figure out we started at 22 times 40, which is $880 in revenue. And so now if we decrease by $1, which is going to increase 4 hats, we're at 924, and we're just going to keep doing this all the way down. If you were good at mental math, you could maybe jump forward a couple to see, but just keep it simple. We're just going to keep plugging and chugging, moving right on down. 19 times 52, 18 times 52, which is 988. 18 times 56, which is 108. 17 times 60, which is 1020. 16 times 64, which is 1024, which is answer E. So we're done in under a minute. You got it solved, and no fancy stuff needed to be able to answer it. Anybody can do this. So we'll do it the fancy way now for any that are so inclined. And so all we're trying to do is figure out a revenue that will help us calculate profit. All right, so we know that our profit, our revenue rather, to calculate revenue, we know that our revenue is generated by our price of our hats times the number of hats that we sell. So we've got to have two aspects of it. And so we know that we're starting at $22 and we're going to subtract a certain number of dollars. We're going to make that X. And then that's going to calculate our price of our hats. So our original starting price minus however many dollars that we are subtracting. And then we're going to take our initial starting number of hats and add 4 times X. So every time we subtract a dollar, we're going to add 4 hats. And so this is a formula that will allow us to calculate how many hats we sell. And this is the hardest part to figure out. So this might take you a while just to think through how to come up with this. And so that's why for most students, the other method is going to be better. But once you get it here, we can just go ahead. We're trying to get to a parabola so that we can calculate the axis of symmetry, find that top point, and then that is going to give us the best value of X here. So we can just FOIL this out. 22 times 40, which is 880, minus 88, or plus 88x, minus 40x, and then this is going to come out front, minus 4x squared. All right, and we can combine the middle two to get 48x plus 880. And now we have it in our format ax squared plus bx plus c. And that's where we need it to be able to find our axis of symmetry. So our formula for our axis of symmetry is negative b over 2a. And so we're just going to plug it in. And this is going to find us the x value where our parabola starts coming back down. All right. So that is going to be where our revenue is going to be the highest. So we're going to do negative 48 divided by 2a, which is negative 4, which times 2 is negative 8. So 48 divided by 8, which is 6. So our x value that is going to maximize our profit is going to be 6. So we can just plug this back into our profit formula that we created at the beginning. So 22 minus 6 is going to be 16. And then we're going to multiply that by 6 times 4, which is 24, plus 40, which is going to be 64, which is going to come out to 1024. So either way, it gets us to answer E. If you are good at algebra, you can use this method if you're able to figure out that initial formula. But for everybody, don't just skip these. You can just work out the math very simply on so many of these questions without knowing all the advanced algebra proper way of doing these questions.